I stared at my reflection in the mirror, methodically applying concealer to hide the dark circles under my eyes. Tonight was the annual Armstrong Family Foundation Gala, and Mother's words from our earlier phone call still rang in my ears. Don't embarrass us tonight, okay? My name is Linda, and I've spent 34 years being the family disappointment. You'd think I'd be used to it by now. Your dress is ready, Ms. Armstrong, the hotel concierge called through the door. I'd booked a suite to prepare for the gala, knowing I couldn't handle getting ready at my parents' mansion while watching everyone fawn over my sister Jordan. Thank you, just leave it there. I waited until the footsteps faded before retrieving the garment bag. My phone buzzed. A text from Tatum. You sure about this? I typed back. No turning back now. The black dress I'd chosen was elegant, but understated. Exactly what Mother hated. She'd already sent 3 passive aggressive texts about how I should wear something more festive like Jordan's designer gown. Another buzz. This time from Emma, my cousin. I'm here if you need backup. I smiled, remembering how Emma had reached out 6 months ago after years of separation. We'd both been cast as the family black sheep, though for different reasons. Her crime was marrying for love instead of status. Mine was refusing to play my assigned role of invisible supporter. The suite's phone rang. Ms. Armstrong, your sister is asking to come up. My stomach clenched. Tell her I'm not ready yet. Linda! Jordan's voice carried through the phone. Don't be difficult. Mother sent me to help with your makeup. I'm 34, Jordan. I can do my own makeup. God, you're so sensitive. This is why Mother worries about you. Just let me in. I closed my eyes, remembering last year's gala. Jordan had announced her luxury skincare line, funded by our parents' small loan of $200,000. Meanwhile, when I'd asked for help starting my tech company years ago, Father had lectured me about fiscal responsibility. Fine, I said finally. Give me 5 minutes. I quickly pulled up my banking app and took screenshots, then sent them to Tatum with instructions. My hands shook slightly as I typed, Upload these to the presentation after slide 15. The door burst open before I could finish. Jordan swept in wearing a rose gold sequined gown that probably cost more than most people's monthly salary. Oh, honey, she said, eyeing my simple black dress. That's so basic. Mother will be devastated. I like it. You always do this, she sighed, pulling out her makeup kit. Every event, you deliberately choose the most boring option. It's like you want to fade into the background. If she only knew. Not everyone needs to be the center of attention, Jordan. She rolled her eyes while applying bright pink lipstick. Speaking of attention, Mother wants you sitting at the main table tonight, next to that venture capitalist from Silicon Valley. Why? Because you're the only single one left, silly. He's divorced, but his family owns half of San Francisco or something. She paused, studying my face. You're not getting any younger, Linda, and it's not like you have much going on career wise. I bit back a laugh. My little freelance work, as Mother called it, had quietly grown into a multi-million-dollar tech empire. But they'd never bothered to ask. I'll sit wherever I'm told, I said quietly. That's the spirit, Jordan beamed, missing my sarcasm entirely. Oh, and Mother wants you to say a few words during my announcement tonight. What announcement? Can't tell you yet, but it's huge. You'll be so excited to be part of it. She checked her phone. Car's here, ready to go. I looked at myself in the mirror one last time. The woman staring back wasn't the meek daughter they expected anymore. Tonight, everything would change. Ready, I said. As we rode to the venue, Jordan chatted about her skincare line's upcoming expansion. I nodded at appropriate intervals while checking my phone. Tatum had confirmed the slides were updated. Emma texted that she was already there, watching Mother direct the staff like a general commanding troops. You seem distracted, Jordan said suddenly. Just nervous about public speaking. She patted my hand condescendingly. Don't worry, we'll make it quick. Nobody expects much from you anyway. The car pulled up to the grand hotel entrance. Through the window, I could see photographers lined up, waiting to capture the Armstrong family's perfect facade. Showtime, Jordan sang, reaching for the door handle. Showtime indeed. They had no idea what was coming. The ballroom sparkled with crystal chandeliers and the flash of cameras. Mother had outdone herself this year, transforming the space into what she called a modern fairy tale setting. I watched from my assigned seat as she worked the crowd, her silver dress catching the light as she moved from group to group. Linda? She air kissed my cheeks when she finally reached our table. You look comfortable. Her smile tightened. I see you went with the black dress after all. You look lovely, Mother. Catherine, darling. A woman in her 60s interrupted us. The decorations are divine, and Jordan looks absolutely radiant tonight. Doesn't she? Mother beamed. She's announcing something spectacular later. Linda, have you met Richard? He's in tech too. Actual tech, not just freelancing. Richard, the venture capitalist I'd been seated beside, extended his hand. Pleasure. What kind of work do you do? Before I could answer, Mother jumped in. Oh, Linda helps small businesses with their websites. Nothing too complicated. Richard here just closed a $50 million deal in Silicon Valley. I sipped my champagne, thinking about the $100 million acquisition offer sitting in my inbox. How fascinating, I murmured. Speaking of business, Mother lowered her voice. Linda, dear, we need you to join us on stage during Jordan's announcement. Just smile and nod. You can manage that, right? Emma caught my eye from across the room and raised an eyebrow. I gave her a subtle nod. The lights dimmed and Father took the stage. Welcome, everyone, to the 35th Annual Armstrong Family Foundation Gala. Applause filled the room. Tonight is extra special as we celebrate not just our charitable work, but also an exciting new chapter for our youngest daughter, Jordan. Jordan practically floated onto the stage in her sparkling gown. Thank you, Daddy. As you all know, my luxury skincare line has been my passion project for the past year. We've had some unexpected challenges. She paused dramatically. But tonight I'm thrilled to announce our expansion plans. Mother appeared at my elbow. That's your cue, dear. Remember, smile and nod. I allowed myself to be steered toward the stage, my heels clicking against the marble floor. Tatum's text buzzed in my clutch. Everything's ready. My beautiful sister Linda, Jordan gushed into the microphone, has always been my biggest supporter, and tonight she's proving it again. She turned to me, eyes gleaming. Linda has generously agreed to invest $800,000 to expand our skincare line. The room erupted in applause. I felt the blood drain from my face as Jordan continued. Such a blessing that she has no husband or children to support, so she can help her family instead. Mother squeezed my arm, warning. Smile, she hissed. I stepped up to the microphone. The room fell silent, waiting for my prescribed response of grateful acceptance. That's quite an announcement, I said slowly, especially since this is the first I'm hearing of it. Jordan's smile faltered. Mother's fingers dug into my arm. Oh, don't be modest, Jordan tried to recover. We discussed this last week. Did we? Must have been right after you maxed out your third credit card and before you lost your last investor. I turned to the crowd. Actually, since we're all here, I have an announcement of my own. Linda, Father warned from behind me. I shrugged off Mother's grip and walked to the AV booth. Could you pull up the next slide, please? Linda, get back here right now. Mother's voice carried across the silent room. The screen behind me flickered. My bank balance appeared in bold numbers. 12,893.42. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Jordan's champagne glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the stage. That's right, I said into the microphone. The daughter you never thought would amount to anything? She's been running a successful tech empire for the past 5 years. The little freelance work you dismissed? It's now worth 9 figures. Mother's perfect smile had completely vanished. Father was frantically whispering to the event coordinator. So, no, Jordan, I won't be paying off your debt. Instead, I nodded to the AV technician again. The screen changed to show my foundation's logo. I'm announcing the creation of the Armstrong Barlow Foundation for Young Women Entrepreneurs. Emma stood up from her table, applauding. Others joined her, the sound growing. This foundation, I continued, my voice steady, will support young women who, like me, were told they weren't enough, who built something from nothing, who succeeded not because of their family's support, but despite its absence. I could see reporters scribbling frantically. Mother had collapsed into a chair while Father was making a beeline for the stage. Oh, and one more thing, I added, just as he reached the steps. I have some interesting documents about where the money from Jordan's previous failed ventures really went. Would anyone like to see those? The room erupted into chaos. I stepped away from the microphone, my heart pounding, but my head held high. The perfect family facade was finally cracking, and I was just getting started. The next few minutes were a blur of flashing cameras and shouted questions. Father had grabbed the microphone, attempting damage control with his practiced banker's smile. Ladies and gentlemen, please, there seems to be a misunderstanding. Perhaps we should take a brief intermission. Is it true about the misappropriated investor funds? A reporter called out. How long has the family been covering up Jordan's failed businesses? Another voice joined in. I stood quietly at the edge of the stage, watching my carefully constructed bomb detonate. Mother had recovered enough to paste on her social smile, though her hands shook as she gripped her champagne glass. Linda? Emma appeared at my elbow. Security's getting antsy. We should move somewhere quieter. Before I could respond, Jordan stormed over, mascara running down her cheeks. How dare you? How fucking dare you humiliate me like this? Humiliate you? I kept my voice low. Like you've humiliated me for years? Poor Linda, no husband, no real job, nothing to show for herself. That was different. I was trying to help you. By announcing I'd pay your debt without even asking me? Mother said you'd understand. You always understand. Jordan's voice cracked. You're my sister. You're supposed to support me. A man in an expensive suit pushed through the crowd. I recognized him immediately. Santiago, Jordan's ex boyfriend and former investor. Support you? He laughed bitterly. Like you supported your investors? Tell them about the yacht, Jordan. Tell them where their seed money really went. Jordan's face went white. Santi, please. I have the receipts, he announced loudly, pulling out his phone. All of them. The wire transfers, the fake business reports, everything. Mother appeared between us like a ghost. This is a private family matter, she hissed. Linda, stop this nonsense immediately. Or what, Mother? You'll cut me off? Disown me? Go ahead. I gestured to the screen still showing my bank balance. I don't need your money anymore. Money isn't everything, she snapped. What about loyalty? Family? Loyalty? Emma stepped forward. Like when you cut me off for marrying the wrong person, or when you told Linda her business ideas were embarrassing? Mother's eyes narrowed. I should have known you were behind this, always filling Linda's head with ridiculous notions of independence. The only notion in my head, I said clearly, is that I'm done being your backup plan, done watching you throw money at Jordan's failures while calling my success cute little projects. Tatum appeared with her laptop. Linda, you need to see this. The story's already hitting social media. People are digging up all of Jordan's old business records. Stop! Father thundered, finally reaching our group. Linda, name your price. Whatever you want. Just stop this circus right now. I looked at him sadly. That's always been your solution, hasn't it? Throw money at problems until they go away. I'm your father. Are you? Because fathers typically support their daughters, help them grow, not tear them down to keep another child on a pedestal. The crowd had grown silent, watching our family drama unfold like a live soap opera. Reporters were recording everything on their phones. You've made your point, Mother said through clenched teeth. Now help us fix this. Fix what? The truth? I turned to the crowd. Would anyone like to hear about the time they told me I was too plain to be the face of the family charity? Or how about when they used my college fund to bail out Jordan's first failed boutique? Linda, please, Jordan whispered. You're destroying everything. No, Jordan. You all did that yourselves. I'm just finally letting people see behind the curtain. Santiago stepped forward again. And I have proof of every financial transaction, every cover up, every emergency loan that mysteriously vanished. Mother swayed slightly. Keith, she grabbed Father's arm, do something. But there was nothing he could do. The perfect family image they'd cultivated for decades was shattering in real time, and all the money in the world couldn't put it back together. Ms. Linda? A young woman approached hesitantly. I'm from the Business Journal. Would you tell us more about your new foundation? I smiled genuinely for the first time that evening. Of course, it's a project very close to my heart. Linda! Mother's voice was sharp. Don't you dare. The foundation, I continued, ignoring her, will focus on supporting young women from unsupportive families. Because sometimes the biggest obstacle to success isn't lack of talent or determination. It's the people who should be lifting you up instead holding you down. As I walked away with the reporter, I heard Jordan burst into fresh tears and Mother calling for her anxiety medication. But for once, I didn't turn back to fix their problems. My time as the family band aid was officially over. The Business Journal reporter Sarah leaned forward eagerly. So, this foundation, it's more than just financial support, isn't it? Much more, I replied, aware of the growing crowd of journalists around us. We're creating a mentorship network, business incubator programs, and Linda! Father's voice boomed across the room. He was striding toward us with two security guards. This interview is over. I stood my ground. Actually, it's not. Sarah, would you like to see the next slide? Before father could intervene, the screen lit up with documents, bank statements, emails, and contracts spanning years. The room fell silent again. These, I gestured to the screen, show exactly how my family handled money over the past decade. Notice the pattern? Every time Jordan failed, they diverted funds from our family foundation to cover it up. That's confidential information, father spluttered. Not anymore. Santiago stepped forward, his phone still recording. As an investor who was defrauded, I made sure everything was properly documented and reported to the relevant authorities. Mother appeared, clutching her pearls. You're making a scene, Linda. Think about what this will do to our reputation. Your reputation? Emma's voice cut through the tension. You mean the reputation you built by crushing anyone who didn't fit your perfect image? By hiding Jordan's failures and Linda's successes? Jordan, who had been surprisingly quiet, suddenly lunged forward. You think you're so perfect? At least I tried to do something with my life. What did you do? Hide behind a computer screen? I laughed, actually laughed. What I did was build a company valued at over $90 million. While you were buying yachts with investor money, I was creating jobs. While you were getting bailouts, I was helping other women succeed. Lies! Jordan screamed. You're lying! Tatum stepped forward, tablet in hand. Actually, here's the latest acquisition offer from Silicon Valley. Would anyone like to see it? Reporters surged forward. Father tried to block them, but it was too late. And here, I continued, nodding to the AV tech, is where the foundation money really went. Notice these transfers? Each one coincides with one of Jordan's business emergencies. Mother swayed dangerously. Keith, stop her! You can't stop the truth, Mother. I turned to the crowd. The Armstrong Barlow Foundation will be different, complete transparency, regular audits, real support for women who need it. I'm calling our lawyers, Father threatened. Go ahead. I have copies of everything. Santiago has copies. The SEC has copies. The mention of the SEC made Father's face go pale. Jordan started sobbing again. You've ruined everything, she wailed. All my investors will pull out now. Your investors already pulled out, Santiago corrected. That's why your parents were trying to force Linda to bail you out. Again. A young woman in the crowd raised her hand. Ms. Linda, how can we apply for foundation support? Don't you dare answer that, Mother hissed. I smiled directly at the young woman. Applications open next month. We're especially interested in tech startups and social enterprise initiatives, the kind of businesses my family called unrealistic dreams. This is your last chance, Father warned. Retract everything now, or you're out of the family. The room held its breath. I could feel Emma's supportive presence behind me, Tatum's quiet strength beside me. Out of the family? I met his gaze steadily. I've been out of this family since I refused to play by your rules. The only difference is now everyone knows why. Security! Mother called. Remove her! Actually, the head of security stepped forward, looking uncomfortable. We work for the hotel, ma'am, and Ms. Linda has proper credentials for this event. Jordan made one last attempt. What about all the times I helped you? Covered for you? Covered for me? I shook my head. You mean like telling everyone I was between jobs when my company hit its first million, or suggesting I needed therapy because I wouldn't fund your spa venture? Ladies and gentlemen, I addressed the room. The Armstrong Barlow Foundation's first initiative will be converting my family's old summer house into a business incubator. Seems fitting, turning a symbol of privilege into a launching pad for real talent. Mother actually gasped. You can't! That property is mine now, I finished. I bought it last week. Amazing what you can do with actual earned money instead of family handouts. The reporters were scribbling frantically. Father had his phone out, presumably calling his lawyer. Jordan had collapsed into a chair, mascara completely ruined. But for the first time in my life, standing in that room full of witnesses to our family's implosion, I felt completely free. Now, I turned back to Sarah. Where were we? Ah, yes. Let me tell you about our mentorship program. After the media frenzy, Emma guided me to the gala's green room. My hands were shaking as I collapsed onto a plush velvet sofa. Here, she handed me a glass of water. You did it. You actually did it. I can't believe. My voice cracked. The adrenaline was wearing off, leaving me raw. The door burst open. Tatum rushed in, her face flushed with excitement. The story's everywhere. Twitter's exploding. 3 major business magazines want exclusive interviews. How bad is it out there? I asked. Your mother's having a medical episode in the lobby. Your father's threatening to sue everyone in sight. And Jordan, Tatum checked her phone. Jordan's trying to spin it on Instagram as a family misunderstanding. Emma snorted. A misunderstanding? They tried to extort $800,000 from you in public. A soft knock interrupted us. Sarah, the Business Journal reporter, poked her head in. Ms. Linda, do you have a moment? Actually, Emma started protectively. It's okay, I said. Come in, Sarah. She sat across from me, recorder ready. That was incredible out there. But what made you finally do it? Why tonight? Before I could answer, the door slammed open again. Jordan stormed in, her perfect makeup now a disaster. Turn off that recorder, she demanded. This is family business. Family business? I laughed tiredly. Like when you announced to hundreds of people that I'd pay your debt without asking me? You're my sister. You're supposed to help me. Like you helped me? I turned to Sarah. Want to know why tonight? Because 6 years ago, when I asked my family for a $10,000 loan to start my company, they told me I was being irresponsible. 2 weeks later, they gave Jordan 50,000 for a juice bar that lasted 3 months. That was different, Jordan protested. My ideas were solid. Your ideas were vanity projects, Emma cut in. Linda actually had a business plan. Nobody asked you, traitor. Jordan spun toward Emma. You're just bitter because your husband isn't good enough for our family. My husband built his own successful business, Emma replied calmly, without Daddy's money. Sarah was scribbling frantically. Jordan noticed and lunged for her notebook. Give me that! Touch her, and I'll add a salt to the story, Tatum warned, stepping between them. The door opened again. Mother stood there, looking oddly deflated without her usual perfect posture. Linda, we need to talk. Alone. Anything you have to say, you can say in front of them. Fine. Mother stepped in, closing the door. Name your price. Excuse me? To fix this, whatever you want. Money, property, positions on the foundation board. Just tell us how to make this go away. I stared at her in disbelief. You still don't get it, do you? This isn't about money. Then what? Attention? You've certainly gotten plenty tonight. It's about truth, Mother. About finally showing everyone who you really are. Who we really are. Her voice rose. We're your family. We gave you everything. You gave me nothing but criticism and comparison. I stood up, anger flooding back. Every achievement was dismissed, every success was minimized, while Jordan got endless chances, endless support, endless praise. Because Jordan needed it. You were always so capable. Capable? I laughed bitterly. I was invisible until you needed something from me. Sarah cleared her throat. Mrs. Catherine, would you like to comment on the allegations about misappropriated foundation funds? Mother's face hardened. Get out, all of you except Linda. Nobody moved. These are my witnesses, I said quietly. They stay. Witnesses? Jordan scoffed. For what? For when you try to spin this tomorrow, when you try to paint me as the ungrateful daughter who betrayed her family. You did betray us, Jordan shrieked. Look what you've done to our reputation. Your reputation was a lie, Emma said. Linda just exposed it. Mother sank into a chair, suddenly looking every bit of her 61 years. What do you want, Linda? Really? I want you to live with the truth, like I've had to live with your lies all these years. And the foundation? Her voice was barely a whisper. Will help girls who remind me of myself. The ones told they're not enough, not pretty enough, not social enough. The ones whose families try to dim their light instead of helping it shine. Jordan made a disgusted sound. So sanctimonious. You think you're better than us? No, I replied. I think I'm finally free of you. Mother stood abruptly. This isn't over. Actually, it is. I nodded to Sarah. Would you like those documents now? As Mother dragged Jordan out, I could hear Father in the hallway, still shouting about lawyers. But his threats couldn't touch me anymore. The truth was finally out, and it was more liberating than any revenge could ever be. The morning after the gala, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. I sat in my home office, watching the fallout unfold across every major news outlet. Turn on Channel 7, Tatum texted. Your mother's doing damage control. I flipped on the TV to see Mother, perfectly coiffed despite everything, sitting across from a morning show host. It's simply a misunderstanding, she was saying, her practiced smile firmly in place. Every family has their disagreements. Mrs. Catherine, the host interrupted, we have documents showing systematic misuse of charitable funds. Would you care to comment on that? Before Mother could respond, my phone rang. Father. Linda? He barked without greeting. Fix this now. I'll double whatever that foundation of yours is worth. It's not for sale, Father. Triple it, plus the summer house stays in the family. The summer house is already mine. The paperwork was finalized last week. He went quiet for a moment. You've always been stubborn, just like your mother. Funny, she always said I was cold and calculating, like you. The doorbell rang. Through my security camera, I saw Jordan standing there, looking surprisingly subdued in jeans and a sweater. I have to go, I told Father. My lawyer will be in touch about the foundation audit. I opened the door cautiously. Jordan's eyes were red and puffy. They're freezing my accounts, she said without preamble. All of them. Santiago's lawyers contacted the bank. That's not my problem. Please, Linda, I have nowhere else to go. Mother and father are. She trailed off. Are what? They're being investigated. The foundation board called an emergency meeting. Everyone's resigning. I let her stand there for a moment, remembering all the times she'd watched me struggle without offering help. There's a Marriott downtown, I said finally. They take credit cards. My cards are frozen. Weren't you listening? Tears welled up. I'm your sister. You should have thought about that before trying to force me to pay your debts. I didn't know. She grabbed my arm. Mother said you'd agreed. She said you wanted to help. My phone buzzed again. Emma, don't trust her. Mother sent her. As if on cue, a black SUV pulled up. Mother stepped out, followed by two men in suits. Linda, she called out, these gentlemen would like to discuss a settlement. No discussions without my lawyer present. Don't be difficult, Mother snapped. We're trying to help you save face. I laughed. Save face? The truth is already out there. Santiago's evidence is with the SEC. The Foundation's books are being audited. You can't buy your way out of this one. Think about Jordan's future. Like you thought about mine? One of the suits stepped forward. Ms. Linda, we're prepared to offer substantial compensation for your silence. My silence? I pulled out my phone and started recording. Please tell me more about how you'd like to buy my silence regarding federal financial crimes. They backed away quickly. You've ruined everything, Jordan burst out. All my investors are pulling out of the new skincare line. Good, I said. Maybe you'll finally have to earn something on your own. Mother's perfect mask cracked. You ungrateful. Mrs. Catherine? A voice called from the street. We turned to see Sarah from the Business Journal holding up her press badge. Care to comment on the Foundation Board's mass resignation? Mother practically ran back to the SUV. The suits followed quickly. Linda, please, Jordan tried one last time. I'll do anything. I looked at my sister, really looked at her. Behind the designer clothes and perfect highlights, she seemed small, lost. There's a program, I said finally, for young entrepreneurs. Real ones, not vanity projects. It starts next month at the incubator. If you're serious about learning actual business skills, you can apply. Apply? Like, compete for it? Yes, Jordan, like everyone else. She stared at me for a long moment before turning away. I watched her climb into the SUV, which peeled away from the curb. My phone buzzed with a news alert. Armstrong Family Foundation under federal investigation. Exclusive details inside. Then another text from Tatum. Netflix wants to do a documentary. Should I set up a meeting? I smiled, thinking about all the young women who would see it, who would recognize their own stories in mine. Set it up, I replied. Looking out at the morning sun, I felt lighter than I had in years. The truth hadn't just set me free, it had cleared the way for something better, something real. My phone buzzed one more time. Emma, ready to start interviewing for the incubator program? Ready, I typed back. Let's build something better than they ever imagined. 3 weeks after the gala, I stood at the podium in the newly renovated business incubator, formerly my family's summer house. The space was packed with young women, entrepreneurs, reporters, and supporters. Welcome to the first Armstrong Barlow Foundation launch event, I began, though I suspect we'll be dropping the Armstrong part soon. Scattered laughter rippled through the crowd. Everyone had seen the news about my family's spectacular fall from grace. This space represents more than just a business incubator, I continued. It represents every woman who was told to dream smaller, to be quieter, to settle for less. Emma, standing near the front, gave me an encouraging nod. We've received over 500 applications for our first cohort. Today we're announcing the 50 women selected. The back doors burst open. Jordan walked in, wearing a simple black dress instead of her usual designer gear. Sorry I'm late, she said quietly, slipping into an empty seat. I paused, then continued. These 50 women were chosen not for their family connections or social status, but for their drive, their innovation, and their determination. Tatum appeared at my side with the presentation remote. The screen behind me lit up with faces and project descriptions. From sustainable fashion to medical technology, from educational software to urban farming, these entrepreneurs represent the future, a future built on merit, not manipulation. The crowd applauded. I spotted Santiago in the back, nodding approvingly. And now I gestured to the row of successful businesswomen seated on stage. Our mentors would like to say a few words. As the first mentor took the podium, a commotion near the entrance caught my attention. Mother was trying to get past security. This is my family's property, she hissed. You can't keep me out. Actually, Emma approached her. It's foundation property now, and you're not on the guest list. I'm her mother, being family doesn't guarantee access anymore, I said into the microphone. That's rather the point of all this. The crowd turned to watch. Mother's face flushed red. You think you're so clever? She spat. But what happens when the novelty wears off? When these girls realize you're just using them for revenge? A young woman stood up from the audience. Ms. Linda isn't using us. She's the first person who actually believed in my business plan. Another rose. She reviewed my proposal herself, gave me real feedback. Helped me secure ethical investors, added a third. Mother's perfect mask cracked completely. You ungrateful little. Security, Emma called calmly. Please escort Mrs. Catherine out. As Mother was led away, Jordan remained in her seat, staring at her hands. I returned to the podium. Success isn't inherited, it's earned. Every woman in this room knows that. And together, we're going to prove it. The mentorship announcements continued. Near the end, a small girl, probably someone's daughter, tugged at my sleeve. Are you a hero? She whispered. I knelt down to her level. No, sweetheart, I'm just someone who stopped being afraid of the truth. After the ceremony, Jordan approached me. She looked different, humbled maybe. I submitted an application, she said. Under a different name. It was rejected. The selection committee is independent. I don't influence their decisions. I know. That's why. She took a deep breath. That's why I'd like to apply for the next cohort, with a real business plan this time. I studied her face. It won't be easy. No shortcuts. No family bailouts. I understand. I've been I've been taking some online business courses, basic accounting, marketing. Before I could respond, Sarah from the Business Journal approached with her recorder. Ms. Linda, could you comment on the SEC's findings regarding your family's foundation? Actually, I smiled, I'd rather talk about our new entrepreneurs. Have you met Jessica? She's developing sustainable building materials from recycled ocean plastic. As I introduced the reporters to our first cohort of founders, I caught Emma's eye across the room. She raised her water glass in a subtle toast. My phone buzzed, a text from Tatum. Netflix documentary crew arrives next week. Also, you're trending on Twitter again. I slipped the phone back into my pocket. The headlines could wait. Right now, watching these women network and share their dreams, I was exactly where I needed to be. Ms. Linda? Another young entrepreneur approached. Could you look at my revised business plan? Of course, I said, leading her to a quiet corner. Tell me everything. This was my real revenge, not destroying my family's reputation, but building something better from its ashes. Something true, something earned. And watching Jordan take notes in the back row, I realized some revelations come later than others, but they come all the same. The autumn breeze rustled through the trees as I stood outside my childhood home. Construction crews were finishing the conversion into the foundation's second location, our new mentorship center. Coffee? Emma appeared beside me, holding two steaming cups. Thanks. I took a sip, watching the workers remove the last of the pretentious Armstrong Estate signage. The Netflix documentary is trending at number 1, she said, checking her phone. The comments are interesting. Let me guess. Mother's given another interview claiming I'm mentally unstable? Actually, no. She and your father have gone surprisingly quiet since the SEC expanded their investigation. A familiar Tesla pulled into the driveway. Jordan stepped out, carrying a laptop and looking almost unrecognizable in business casual attire. I finished the market research report, she said, approaching us. And I think I found a gap in the sustainable cosmetics market that nobody's addressing. I raised an eyebrow. Show me. She opened her laptop, pulling up detailed spreadsheets and competitor analyses. See, everyone's focused on luxury organic products, but nobody's targeting middle income consumers who want sustainable options. And your solution? Direct to consumer model, transparent supply chain, reasonable pricing. She clicked through her presentation. I've already contacted 3 ethical manufacturers. Emma whistled softly. This is actually solid work. I know you probably don't believe I've changed, Jordan said quietly. But those business courses, they opened my eyes. I never really understood what it meant to build something real. A black SUV screeched to a halt at the curb. Mother emerged, looking frantic. Girls, thank God you're both here. The board, they're selling everything, the main house, the cars, even my jewelry. Asset forfeiture, I explained calmly. That's what happens when you misappropriate charitable funds. But where will we live? What will people say? Maybe, Jordan suggested, we should worry less about what people say and more about what we actually do. Mother stared at her as if she'd grown a second head. Not you, too. They've brainwashed you. No, Mother. They've taught me. There's a difference. Ladies? Tatum called from the front door. The documentary crew is here for final interviews, and Sarah from the Business Journal wants quotes about the Mentorship Center launch. Mother straightened her designer jacket. I'll handle the press. You're not authorized to speak for the foundation, Emma cut in. In fact, you should leave before security arrives. I'm still your mother. Yes, I said softly, but that doesn't give you the right to control our lives anymore. As if to punctuate my words, workers began installing the new sign: Next Generation, a Women's Business Center. You've destroyed everything we built, Mother cried. No, Jordan surprised me by speaking up. We're building something better, something real. You can either accept that or leave. Mother's face crumpled. For a moment, I saw past her perfect makeup to the scared woman beneath, someone who'd spent her whole life maintaining appearances at the cost of authenticity. The center has a financial literacy program, I found myself saying, open to anyone who wants to learn. She stared at me for a long moment before turning away, climbing back into her SUV without another word. That was kind of you, Emma observed after Mother drove away. Maybe, or maybe I just want her to see what real success looks like. Jordan closed her laptop. I should get back to work on these projections. The selection committee meets next week. You're really doing this? I asked. Competing for a spot like everyone else? Yes. She met my eyes. I want to earn something for once. Inside, I could hear the documentary crew setting up. Tatum was directing them to capture the transformation of the space, from a symbol of inherited privilege to a launchpad for earned success. Ready for the final interview? Emma asked. I looked at the building that had once represented everything wrong with my family: the facade, the expectations, the conditional love. Now it would help other women break free from similar constraints. Almost, I said. Just need to do one thing first. I walked to the old oak tree where Father used to measure our heights, marking them in pencil. The marks were still there, Jordan's always slightly higher, even when they weren't. Taking out my keys, I carved something new into the bark. Success grows from truth. Linda? Tatum called. They're ready for you. I turned away from the tree, ready to tell my story one last time. Not for revenge now, but for all the women who needed to hear it. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying what hurt you, it's building something better in its place.